and there is a welcome air of peace in Lebanon, and there is a renewed push to secure the very same thing in Gaza. A truce between Israel and Hezbollah went into effect early this morning at 4 a.m. local time. It was announced hours earlier by U.S. President Joe Biden, who brokered the deal along with his French counterpart. Now have a look at this live view of tired Lebanon. The ceasefire is still in its early hours, and there is skepticism from some residents on both sides of the border that it is going to hold in the long term. The Israeli military now has 60 days to pull its forces entirely out of Lebanon, and Hezbollah must also pull its fighters back from the border area within that time frame. A stream of residents started returning to their homes in southern Lebanon. Some saw their hopes completely dashed amid piles of rubble like this. Israeli bombardments have left some residential areas in complete ruins. The International Rescue Committee estimates more than 100,000 homes have been either partially or completely destroyed. The Israeli military has also warned Lebanese civilians not to return to southern villages until their troops have withdrawn. CBC's Tom Perry has been covering this conflict and updating us on all of the negotiations that led up to the ceasefire. So, Tom, you've been on the road at multiple stops just even today near the Lebanese border, and now you're in northern Israel on the road to the city of Haifa. So how are the people reacting to the ceasefire along your path?
Oh, that's right, Natasha. We've been on the road for the past couple of days in northern Israel, talking to people first about a proposed ceasefire and now about the real deal. And I know we've seen those images in Lebanon of people celebrating and rushing home. We've not really seen that in northern Israel. I think it's fair to say that in this part of Israel, there's still a lot of caution about this deal and what it's going to mean if it's going to hold. A little earlier in the day, we were at a town a little north of where we are right now. It has been evacuated for over a year. People were forced out because of Hezbollah dropping rockets into the town. We actually went down to the bus station this morning where a Hezbollah rocket landed last night. So just really under the deadline for the ceasefire, burned out some buses there. We were talking to some of the people down there just about what they thought about this ceasefire, whether they thought Hezbollah could be trusted. I'll let you listen to a clip of it's Roni Fella. He lives nearby, and I asked him, what he thought, whether he thought that this ceasefire could actually hold.
You make me laugh. It won't be for long. We're not from Israel, from our side, it's going to be like they signed. But at the other side, the meaning of this break, not ceasefire, break, it's to bring more weapons, it's to bring more people, and they want to do the same as they did at the south of Israel, here at the north.
So that was just one of the voices that we heard, people expressing some real doubts about this ceasefire. We spoke to another woman who was going back to her house in that village, and she just said, she's not ready to go back, to move back permanently just yet. Now, we did hear from Israel's prime minister addressing the nation yesterday, saying that, that Israel retains the right to go after Hezbollah. If Hezbollah tries to move back into its positions, that Israel will strike, that if Hezbollah tries to launch rockets, that Israel will strike. And we heard that as well from U.S. President Joe Biden when he was announcing the deal, saying that Israel retains the right to self-defense, and saying what this is really about is establishing a permanent peace.
Let's talk about President Biden for a moment, Tom, because as I mentioned off the top, it was the United States and France that brokered this peace deal. I mean, it's just in the early hours. It's not even been a full day, but already the U.S. president is shifting his attention. He's announced today that he's going to be working with fellows in Washington, his allies internationally, to try and return to the table for a ceasefire negotiation in Gaza and really try to secure that, presumably before the end of his term. So what can you tell us about those moves?
Well, Joe Biden actually mentioned this yesterday when he was announcing the ceasefire in Lebanon, saying that he wants to work with these other countries to try to broker this ceasefire in Gaza, really a last-minute push for his presidency where, you know, the time is quickly running out. Now, we did hear voices out of Gaza yesterday, people saying, you know, they were happy for the people of Lebanon, but wondering, you know, when would there might be a ceasefire in Gaza, saying how they really felt, you know, forgotten. And the fact is that we're seeing some just extreme humanitarian suffering in Gaza. That's where we're seeing the vast bulk of the civilian casualties in this entire conflict. So with Joe Biden trying to doing this renewed push for a ceasefire in Gaza, who knows? Maybe he can make it happen. But as I say, he's only got so much time, very little time left in his presidency before Donald Trump comes into the White House. So it may be heartening for the people of Gaza to hear that Joe Biden is trying to do this, but really results are what matter. And right now, the war in Gaza is still just dragging on.
Okay, CBC's Tom Perry. Thank you, Tom.